Hi there, and welcome to the Offhand Disney YouTube channel. You see, here at Offhand Disney, we tried to uphold our content to certain standards. Maybe when you saw the title of this video, you thought to yourself, it's a little late for a New Year's video, don't you think? Well, you see, every day here at Offhand Disney, we try to strive for what we like to call the 3 Ps. Practice makes perfect. Praise other people's content and encourage others, and of course, the last P, procrastination. Others out there may try to upload their New Year's videos on December 31st or January 1st, but not us. Because here we like to think outside of the box. And that means delivering our content to you at later dates than the rest of the competition. And that's what we like to think sets Offhand Disney a cut above the rest. And as we like to say here, it could have been way worse. This is a tripod. The most symmetrical year of my life has arrived, and today I feel like it would be a good idea to go back, to examine the past decade of Disney and to try to find my favorite and least favorite moments. Now I think overall 2010 to 2020 has been a very, very good decade for Disney. Walt Disney Animation Studios has put out hit after hit after hit after hit. After hit, in 2009 Disney acquired Marvel, and the movie division Marvel Studios went on to release hit after hit. You get the idea. Recent acquisitions like Lucasfilm and 20th Century Fox has helped bolster the Disney brand in movies and theme parks all over the world, and we've been starting to see sort of a revitalization and revisiting to Michael Eisner's budget parks that he built in the 90s and early 2000s. Parks like Disney California Adventure in Anaheim and Disney's Hollywood Studios in Orlando. Both parks that, well, let's be honest, really needed the help. So from happy haunts to D23 flops, here are my personal best and worst moments in the past Disney decade. Now let's start off with the bad and then move into the good, because I like ending videos on a happy, hopeful note. And my first pick for one of the worst things to happen to Disney this decade is the implementation of FastPass Plus at Walt Disney World. Now it may be a little weird to you that I consider this a bad thing that happened, but hear me out. You see, in 2013 and 2014, Walt Disney World did away with the classic paper FastPass system and introduced FastPass Plus. Linked to your Magic Band, this system would allow you to book FastPasses for different Disney rides all over property without getting the paper ones, making it easier to manage your time, and all of your fast passes were visible on your My Disney Experience app. But that's about where the conveniences ended. With this new system, you were able to book your fast passes 30 days ahead of your visit, but you're only able to make 3 fast passes a day, and different rides have different tiers. So let's say you're at Epcot and you want to get a fast pass for Soarin' Around the World and Frozen Ever After. Well, I got bad news for you, friend. You can only choose one of these rides to get a fast pass for the entire day. So with Walt Disney World's FastPass system, you have to choose over one ride or another. You can also only make these advanced selections for one park per day, so if you want to hit Soarin' Around the World and then let's say Pirates of the Caribbean at the Magic Kingdom, too bad so sad, you have to choose one park and stay there until your 3 FastPass selections are used, and then you could make more selections, that is, if you want a FastPass for the Magic Carpets of Aladdin or Mickey's PhilharMagic, because those are usually the only FastPasses available. Meanwhile, over at Disneyland, you can get fast passes throughout the day for any ride at any park. If you want a pass for the Haunted Mansion, but you also want to ride Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, you can do that and be just fine. And Max Pass on your phone makes the entire situation even easier. I cannot believe Walt Disney World has the system that they do, because it really does not work very well. I mean, maybe it's good for the planners or the people who visit Walt Disney World one time in their whole life, but I think even then, having a looser plan for just being in what park, what day, and what you want to do is a lot easier than having your entire day planned out to the minutia. But that, of course, is just me. FastPass Plus is, in my opinion, one of the worst things Disney has done this decade. On to the second one. Now keep in mind that these are not in any particular order. It's not really like a top 3 list, but that being said, coming in at number 2, if you watched the D23 Parks panel in 2019 or you were there, you may know what I'm going to be talking about in just a second. They announced tons of different awesome things coming to Epcot and a new parade coming to Disneyland. It was really a super solid parks panel until we arrived at a very interesting part in the middle. So it was a really weird lull in the show where Bob Chapek introduced the CEO of Target and they announced that a brand new mini Disney store was coming to certain Targets in the nation. And you could hear everyone in the audience and everyone at home release a collective, well, what? This part of the show really took away from the magic of the Disney parks and exposed the kind of greedy merchandising part of Disney that we all know is there, but we all kind of turn a blind eye to. I mean, I'll be the first to say I have a lot of Disney merchandise, but this just seemed really out of place. Something more suited to a stockholder call than a magical presentation about Disneyland and Walt Disney World. And they're only opening these mini Disney stores in 25 different Targets around the country, which is like not a whole much considering they have 1,844 stores as of 2018. And we know most of these Disney stores will probably be coming to states like New York or California, and probably not a whole bunch to states like Colorado or Missouri. It was just really disappointing to see this in the D23 presentation, and hopefully they took notes and will steer clear of the corporate-y things during next year's presentation. But I have to say that this moment was so bad that easily it's one of my least favorite Disney moments of the past entire decade. And now the last worst thing to happen in the 2010s to me, personally, was the ticket price increase for the parks. Yet, I pay. In 2010, a one-day, one-park ticket to Disneyland cost $76. A park hopper, on the other hand, cost $91. Today, a one-day, one-park ticket costs $150, and a park hopper ticket for one day costs $200. But the offerings at Disney have gone up, so whatever. In January of 2010, a deluxe annual pass, the base level for a long time there for most out-of-staters like me, cost $300. And nowadays, the deluxe will put you back $800. And the same thing happens over at Walt Disney World. Ticket and annual pass prices continue to increase because the crowds are just so big and there's more to do at the parks than there was 10 years ago, I get it. And I'm making this video right now probably jinxing it, but they usually raise the prices in January, so get ready for another price increase pretty soon here, folks. And I think the price increases are Disney's way of controlling the crowds. The higher the prices go, the less crowds there will be. Plus, yes, they're a business, they enjoy making money, I'm sure we all do, but soon I think we're going to find the breaking point for what people consider to be worth it. And while yes, that will mean less crowds in the park, which I think is worth it, other people might not think so. So the ticket price increase makes the list of one of my least favorite things to happen in Disney in the past decade. But now let's move on from the doom and gloom onto something more exciting and more fulfilling, I think, and that's my favorite things to happen in Disney in the past decade. From movies to theme parks to special celebrations, that's all three things for me, there are a lot of things to be happy about in 2020. And I'll start with the release of the movie Avengers Endgame in April. Endgame is a movie that Disney and Marvel spent the better part of 10 years building up to. Not a single movie in the entire saga, except for maybe The Incredible Hulk, was wasted. Looking back, I think every single Marvel movie had some sort of build-up or some sort of character progression that would end up paying off in Endgame and Infinity War. And as first and foremost a massive Disney fan, but secondly a massive Marvel fan, seeing these movies be so popular and so culturally significant, it makes me very, very happy that we will be getting a Marvel Land soon at Disneyland. It's my two favorite things. And Endgame also became the highest grossing movie of all time, not an easy feat, beating out another kind of Disney movie from the #1 spot, Avatar, which also has its own wonderful land. All I can say being a massive Marvel fan is, at least we're not the Star Wars fans, guys, am I right? Am I right or am I right? Okay, I love Star Wars too. But Avengers Endgame snags #3 not because it was my favorite movie of 2019, but because of the cultural significance of all of the MCU. And I'm also finally getting a Spider-Man ride, the one and only Spider-Man ride ever in existence. Coming in at #2, in 2019 we saw the opening of Disney's biggest land ever. Situated at the back of Disneyland and the back of Hollywood Studios, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opened to some controversy. Disney's usual plan of opening a land in phases, with the more basic attraction opening with the land and the more advanced one opening later, kind of backfired here, along with the slower summer crowds at Disneyland due to the price increase and the fear of crowds. Also mixed with the more toxic parts of the Star Wars fandom, people were calling it a failure right out of the gate. But here's a video of me standing right outside of the gate on the opening day of Rise of the Resistance, and here's a picture from just the other day of the same gate Gate at the same time, it's usually too early to tell with newer lands, but I honestly think that Galaxy's Edge has been a huge success, not only for Disney but for theme parks as a whole. Rise of the Resistance really makes the land feel complete and whole, and with Smuggler's Run being a better version of Star Tours and fully immersive gift shops and restaurants, I think this land will age very well as long as they don't stick to the whole timeline of this taking place in between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, because that's like having a land based on Tatooine set in between The Mandalorian and The Force Awakens. I think in order for the land to succeed, you have to have it be timeless, either completely separate from the movies or the story of the land progressing with the movies. But when it comes to animatronics and food and shopping and attractions and theming and sculpting, there's no better land than Galaxy's Edge, except for New Orleans Square because it will always be my favorite. So here's hoping that in 2020 we'll see some walk-around droids and some more improvements to the lesser loved parts of Galaxy's Edge, maybe some variations of the mission in Smuggler's Run, that'd be really cool. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland and Disney's Hollywood Studios is truly one of the best moments in the 2010s for me, but not the best. That honor has to go to the Haunted Mansion 50th anniversary celebration. Not just because the Haunted Mansion is my favorite and the best attraction of all time, but because of the memories I made while I was there. Talking to other Disney YouTubers and Haunted Mansion fans and filming that special, and having shows and entertainment and food themed around my favorite ride, I felt like I was with my people. The mansion was decked out in a way that I had never seen it before, and it featured the return of live actors into the Haunted Mansion for the first time since like the 80s. And part of me hopes that they were testing the water for the introduction of real cast members into the Haunted Mansion on a more normal occasion during park hours. It adds a lot of interactivity and a whole new feeling inside the mansion when you don't know what you're going to get the next time you go through, while also not impeding on the classic show scenes that we know and love. Waking up at midnight and going to sleep at 4 a.m. was totally worth it, and if they ever do another anniversary after hours thing like this ever again at Disneyland, I'm going to be there. And I could go on for hours and hours about this celebration, but it really was my favorite moment of the 2010s in Disney. So now that I've shared my favorite and least favorite moments, now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments down below what is your favorite thing Disney did in the past 10 years, and what is your least favorite thing? What could you have done without? Let me know in the comments down below, and if anything, this video just makes me even more excited for the next decade in Disney. With the entirety of Epcot changing for the better, and all of these changes coming to Walt Disney World and Disneyland, it just leaves me even more excited for this next decade in Disney. So thank you all for being on this weird Disney ride with me for the past couple years, and here's to the next 10. Hi everybody, thank you so much for watching this video about the Disney decade that recently passed. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new here, and also be sure to visit the link in the description down below if you're interested in the Magic Candle Company. Use code OFFHAND15, they have tons of awesome different scents to choose from that remind me of the Disney parks, they really do. Honestly, what I'm hoping for in the next 10 years is an improved focus on dark rides, less on the screen aspect of attractions. Because while I think screens have a purpose that they can fulfill really well, I always prefer physical sets because physical sets don't make me motion sick. Everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.